So now that we've done the if exercises just to get ourselves orientated with how if statements work, we're now going to apply it to the content from the text from chapter 4 level 2. And I want to do if statements in this area here that I'm showing on the screen. And I'm going to have some headers up here in terms of what we're trying to do. And I also want to increase the number of rows above to set up the rules that we're going to use up here. And so I'm just going to, for quickness of the video here, I'm just going to copy all the rules up here, and then I'll talk about them once I copy them onto the starting document. You guys have the starting document. I'm just going to, for quickness, get this going. This here is going to be percentage. Okay. And then across the top here, we've got some if statement data that we're going to put down underneath it. So what is that? Well, I'm going to go these here. I'm going to copy that onto the working document. There we go. All right. I'm just going to do some wrapping here to make sure it wraps nicely. I'm going to center it and bold it. So it's centered already, and then bold it. All right, let's just pull this up a bit. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is that I want to have the words credit approved where my mouse is pointing if this is true, meaning that they've checked out the credit status, and if the credit status is true, then I want to see the words credit approved right here. If it's false in this cell, then I want to see credit denied right here. So this is based on what we've done in the previous if exercises. It's quite simple. If I go equals if, and I want to click on true, and I'm going to make a mistake right now, which I'm going to fix up in a second. I'm going to go is H9 equal to the word true. All right, and then I press comma. So that's the logical test. If it is true, I want to come back with some text, and that text is going to be start with quotations, credit denied, if I can get my spelling right, credit denied, and then if it's false, oh sorry, it should be the other way around, credit approved, comma, if that's false, then it should be credit denied. So I'll do quotations, credit denied, like that, quotation, close the bracket, enter. And so what it does is it resolves it properly, and it will probably resolve it all the way down here. But the key thing here to remember is if I press F2 to come back to it, you do not have to say the word equals true there. I can just get rid of it like that, because it's going to come into the equation or into the formula already with a status, and that is true or false based on what it's being pointed at. So all we really have to do is point at it, and you'll see that it still works. So as opposed to this one, which is H9, all right, this one here, and this one here, which is actually saying the word true, you don't have to do that. So I'm just going to pull that down, and you'll see that it still works. Okay, so again, if you're doing a logical test, which is the first part of the if statement, right? You do not have to do the equals true. It already comes through as true or false. Now, over here, what we're going to do is we're going to charge them a finance charge. And this here, I think we should change that penalty to finance to make it more obvious as to what it's for. So if they have any kind of outstanding balance, meaning anything in this column, anything at all, then we're going to charge them $25 right here. Okay, and we're going to point at that thing. And at the end of the day, we want to have their total balance, meaning what is past due, and what is their current balance, whatever is in this column plus what's in this column plus the $25 has to be put into the cell here I'm pointing at. Okay, so notice the difference between this stuff and this stuff. This stuff here represents monies that the clients have not paid us. In particular, this one here, $345, we've sent out an invoice to the Canadian Ski Club, and it's that one invoice now, if it was one invoice, is now 30 days past due. But they also have sent out other invoices which are now 90 days past due, and there's nothing current. So there's a difference between current and past due. Okay, this past due column here is the addition of the 3 to the left. And if you look at the formula here, it says sum of D11 to F11. D11 to F11. Alright, if I highlight that, look at the bottom here, there's your 13,000. Alright, it's a quick and dirty way of looking at stuff from a highlighting perspective. So this is the total past due from the 30, 60, and 90 day statuses. So what I'm getting at here is that the total balance, including the finance charge, has to include the 25, anything in this column, plus anything in this column. Now we're going to use an if statement for this. So I'm going to just move this over a little bit like that. Equals if this here is greater than 0, okay, if this is greater than 0, then we're going to charge them something. What are we going to charge them? We're going to charge them $25, B2. And then we're going to add to that how much they owe us, which is sitting on G9, plus what is currently due to us, but not being overdue, C9. Okay? If it is a false statement, then we're not going to charge them, but we still want to figure out what their total balance is. So there's no B2 this time, but we still want to add the G9 plus the C9. And then I close the brackets, and then I press enter. So let's just check out, see if this is true or not. Well, they don't have a balance due, so therefore they're not getting charged. There's no balance left that they owe us, but we still have the $8,612 that is currently due. Okay? So if I pull this down, it will not work, right? Because the $25 has not been nailed down yet. It's up here in the formula. I want to nail that down by pressing F4. Okay, pressing enter. And then if I pull this down now, it should be fine. Let's just check out one of them here. That one here. 520. 520 is the addition of this one here is, because it's greater than 0, we're going to charge them $25. So that 520 then is the $25 fine plus what's due plus what's currently due, which is 0. So the 520 seems to be accurate. Alright, I'm going to get rid of these remaining dollar signs because it's not consistent with the rest, and as you've heard before, you should not have repetition of the dollar sign in the same type of data column. So I'm going to change that to a comma. Alright, and get rid of the dollars, cents, like that. More professional. Alright, so let's move on now to the 90-day past due surcharge. So I'll just move this over. Oh no, I need to use this here. So what this means is that if they have anything in the 90-day column that is greater than some number, what is that some number? Well, up here, I've got here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wrap this so it doesn't move everything around. I'm going to wrap the text. So what this says here, that in this cell here that I'm pointing at, I'm going to put down a surcharge of some number if anything in this cell is, if it's greater than $200. So I see this one being over $200 and this one being over $200, and so they're going to get surcharged. This one is not over 200, they're not going to get a surcharge. So I'm going to expect at the end of the day to have nothing in that cell, nothing in that cell, and nothing in that cell, because there's not, the rule is that anything over $200 in the 90-day column kicks in the surcharge. But we're not quite finished yet, because that surcharge is going to be a number that is either the higher of $100 or 10% of what they owe. Okay? This one here was going to kick in a surcharge, and so is this one. This one here, if I was to choose 10% of that, it would be $486. If I was to choose 10% of that, that would be $89. So the surcharge is going to be the higher of the numbers, the higher of the number in the calculation. So the question is, how do we depict that in an if statement? So over here, we're going to start off with equals if. So the first thing we want to figure out is if the amount in the 90 days is greater than $200, this number here. Let me just, yeah. So I'm going to check out that number there. If that is greater than sitting in B3, then we're going to do something. Okay, we're going to charge them something. And we're going to charge them the higher of two numbers, $100 or 10% of what is in the 90-day cell. So I'm going to type the word max. And max is a formula or a function that finds the higher of a suite of numbers. And those suite of numbers are inside the brackets. And so I'm going to put down the maximum of either $100 B4 or 10% B5 times what's sitting in the 90-day cell. Close the brackets. If it is a false statement, then we're not going to charge them anything. So comma 0, close the brackets. Okay, so let me just go through that again. If the F9, this number here, is greater than B3, the threshold for doing a surcharge, or 200, then we're going to find the higher of two numbers, 100 or 10% of what is in that 90-day column. So it's the maximum, that's the function, of 100 B4 times B5, 10% times what's sitting in F9. Alright, I'm going to press enter, and it comes back as 0 as we'd expect, because there is no balance in the 90s. So I want to nail down, though, anything that is in the top area here. So I want to nail down the red one, the purple one, and the green one. Okay, and once I pull this down now, it will work. And we'll get rid of the dollars here, make it comma, and the decimals. Okay, so does this work? It does work, because this one here is definitely over $200. And then if that's a true statement, which it was, we have to find the higher of two numbers, either the 100 or 10% of this number. And 10% of 4,862 is definitely greater than 100, therefore it shows it as that. In the other case, it's definitely over $200, but the true statement was either 100 or the higher, or 10%, therefore whatever's higher, and it comes back with 100 because 10% of 899 is 89, and that's not higher than 100. Okay, and let's do the alternate penalty scheme. And here we have if of an if statements, cascading if statements again. And in this case, we're looking at this area up here. So let me just move over to the right a bit. So we want to figure out if they have anything in the 90-day part here, we're going to charge them $100. And if they have anything in the $60, we're going to charge them $50. And anything in the 30 days, we're going to charge them $25. So it's not mutually exclusive, meaning one of the three. It can be applicable that they charge everything if everything is valid. So for example, this person is going to get charged $25 for that one, $50 for that one because it's over 0, and this one is going to have $100 added. So having bad situations for 30 days, 60, and 90 are going to incur all these fines, not just one of them. So let's create a if statement for that. So equals if, all right, if the 30 days D9 is greater than 0, we're going to charge them something. What is it? We're going to charge them $25. All right, comma. Now we don't know what to do for the next parts yet, so we're going to kick in another if statement. If this one here is greater than 0, then we're going to charge them $50, right? Because we're talking about the 60-day column here, comma, and then that means that the last one must be the valid one. No, we still do another if statement. Sorry, do another if statement. So if the one sitting in the 90-day column is greater than 0, we're going to charge them $100 or G2, else it's going to be 0, right? And then we figure out the number of open brackets we have and then balance it with closed. So 1, 2, 3 open brackets, and then we close it with 3 brackets. 1, 2, 3. Press enter. Okay? So in this case it's 0. And is that true? Just before I pull it down, I'm going to make sure I've got my F4s working. So I want to get rid of the orange one. Well, nail down the orange one with F4, the green one with F4, and the red one. We got the red, sorry, there it is. G2, that one there. Yeah, sorry. That's red, that's green, and that's orange. Anything else to be nailed down? No, I don't think so. Alright, press enter. Let's pull it down. Okay, and so what we're doing here is we're giving them the fines as required. Okay, so I'm just going to put these dollar signs here, like that. Okay, and so there we go with the fines. Now, I think I've made a mistake already with this because I have made them mutually exclusive, and I wanted to provide a fine for every instance. So what I have here is the first if statement. So is D11 greater than 0? Alright, let's just do this one first of all. D11 greater than 0. If that's true, we're going to charge them $25. Okay. If it is false, alright, if it is false, then we're going to check out the if statement again to see if the E11 is due. And it's definitely true in this case too, but we have not added the $50 fine. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to do this. I'm going to move this up here like that, and I'm going to put down here, this is going to be for the 30-day. Alright, this is going to be for the 60-day, and this is going to be for the 90-day. Alright, and let's see what happens in this case. So I'm going to take this formula here, okay, and then I'm going to copy it over here, but I still have to make an adjustment because now we're talking about E10, alright, E, alright, so I have to change that because I don't want to move it. Like, see how it's all shifted? So I want to make this back to D again. So let me just do that, D. Alright, and then this one is going to be E, and then this one is going to be F. Okay, everything else is dollarized, so we're okay. Let's pull this down. Okay, and we see that this has been added up. And you know what I'm doing? I'm making a big mistake here. I'm making a mess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop the video and try and sort out what I'm trying to be doing here, and come back with another video. So I think I'm making a mess here, but I'm not going to fix up the video because I make messes too. But this is the cascading if I want to basically show you. Alright, ending now.